They're understanding, getting to, in my opinion, maybe the center part of the book of Acts. Now, there's so much that's been throughout this book of Acts, but everything has now led up to the gospel, gone from Jerusalem, gone to Samaria, gone to Greece, now Rome, the ends of the earth, and going to everybody, not just those that happen to be in the marketplace, not just those that are in the synagogue, not just those that are in Jerusalem, but all the powers of the known world. The gospel being brought everywhere. And here you get this incredible image of what's going on with Paul as Paul goes forward. And he's about, and we'll get to this next week when we get starting on Monday, his statement, which is proclamation, pointing to Jesus, pointing to the offense that brought him to this place, pointing to the one who came. And he could have said many things. Instead, he points to Jesus. And he points it to the powers that be. Thinking here with verse 25 through 23 through 25 today. And you get the image of what's going on. Very intentional. So on the next day, remember Agrippa and his sister had asked, maybe see him to see this Paul. So next day, here it is. And everything had been staged and set. So this was not a small thing. This was total. The word Agrippa and Bernice came with great pomp. Probably Luke being there. You can imagine Luke kind of being back in the corner, having whatever he could, writing down everything, the historian that he could see and hear and all of what was going on, writing his description of what he saw. And you can imagine Festus being there, going up, and then you have, and here comes Herod Agrippa II as it comes forward. And here comes Bernice, and then all in their best finery, gold, jewels, best of the best they are worn for. So this is the highest of the pomp that is there. With great pomp, they enter the audience hall with military tribunes. And in Caesarea, there were 5 cohorts, military leaders there that would have been there. So you're talking quite a few. Just think it would be different, but thinking England with all, you're getting the top military leaders with all of the hats, the finery, the medals, the everything else coming on in. And the prominent men of the city, all the important people are brought on in. So you've got the important people, the money, you've got the power, you've got the wealth, you've got the leaders, you've got the military tribunals, everybody dressed to the hilt, all there, gathered around. And in the midst of all of this, then at the command of Festus, Paul was brought in. Bring in Paul. And you just imagine the pomp and the ego that's going on with Festus right here. I've been in a situation like that before where it's been me and my wife regarding education, and we went into a meeting. Next thing you know, it's not just we were expecting a couple of people. Instead, next thing we know, we've got 20 people all surrounding us. Very intentional to control and to manipulate. And that's what he wanted to do, control and manipulate and show, here we are. And then here comes Paul. And Paul with just maybe a tunic, a robe, just basic common dress, walking on in. And you see the intention going on by Festus. We are the important people and you are this thing down here. In fact, who was the most important there? Paul was the most important because he was sharing Jesus. And that is above all. So and Festus then said, King Agrippa, and all who are present with us, you see this man about whom the whole Jewish people petitioned me, both in Jerusalem and here, shouting they ought not to live any longer. So, and probably that's what he thought. All the Jews were against him, and he was just this one man. And so I can do this and get more and more for myself. So it's ego, self, control, power, all those things going on. But I found that he has done nothing deserving of death. I saw through it all. It just, I see the truth of the matter. But what is Paul about to say when we get together next week, when we get together on Monday? He's going to point to Jesus, who is the way, the truth, and the life. And as he himself appealed to the emperor, I decided to go ahead and send him. The fact that my head might be dislocated from my shoulders if I don't send him, I'm not going to say that. Look at what I have done. I see, I know, I am wise. And with a lot of these people that are gathered together, probably for the first time, remember he's a new ruler, for the first time, gathering together, showing himself and trying to put himself where he thinks he ought to be. And the great turn here is Paul, common robes, pointing to Jesus. And there is power, authority, salvation for the world.